Yeah, that's going to be kind of weird if there's no light. It's weird. Nervous. Good morning. Today is Sunday, March 29th, 2015. This is the first time I've recorded. Just talk. I need to, I think I'm supposed to begin something tomorrow. I guess I would say round 2. Maybe even round 3 of a cleanse, of a continued personal balancing. And what will make this round of this process different, unique, is that I think I'm being guided to record in, I think, video. I think at a minimum video, and that's only because the ease. I mean, I could just push record and sit here and talk. Somehow when I get typing or writing, not that it's a bad thing, but I get more particular. It's not as easy for me to just let thoughts flow when I'm typing or writing, because I feel for some reason more pressure to make sure it's organized in some sort of way, whereas when I record in this manner, or when I record on my tape recorder, I don't seem to go through the same level of editing that I do when I'm writing. So, all to say, I'm pretty sure I'm being guided to, for the next 14 days after today, to perform round 2 of a cleanse, and really take what I just did 3 weeks ago up a notch. And being that tomorrow will be the first full day of this round, and I won't have a chance to record until the end of the day, I don't know, I just want to turn the camera on. It's a brand new camera, first video camera. Will forever be the first video camera I've ever bought. That was a kind of interesting, energetic day where I made that purchase about a week and a half ago, because I don't buy things for myself. I don't spend hundreds of dollars on myself very easily, still. So there's a lot to be shared. There's a lot to be shared. I kind of crawled back into the child energy of this personality, of Alyson, which I had, newly departed or evolved from, or I had only, for the past few years, begun to see what woman Alyson, who she was, which is all to say, in my opinion, sort of evolving through emotions. And even though I had maturity well beyond my age, my emotional maturity was stunted in a pretty big way, and I wasn't allowing myself to progress really as a soul because of this self-imposed sort of ceiling of feeling. I had a self-imposed ceiling of the way I express love, the way I allowed myself to be the love that I now know we all are at our essence. And I didn't realize I was self-imposing this ceiling. I felt as if the world outside of me was forcing me. I was a victim of my own life. I was a victim of my own life, most notably my mind, and the way that my mind, going all the way to the core of the mind, which is sort of the beliefs that we possess at any given time in this form. All a belief is a thought that you've had over and over and over and over again. That's a practiced thought becomes a very solid momentum of energy of what we call belief. And in this awakening process, most generally and succinctly, it's been allowing myself to live in this world in a very different manner that now ultimately I understand reveals to me or gives me very real opportunities that manifest in my experiences in life and my relationships, and what I'm experiencing on a day-to-day basis is this new level of opportunity to ask myself, to reveal what my belief really is about something or someone or some idea, what my beliefs really are, and giving me an opportunity to either say, yes, I still want to have this as my belief, this still resonates as truth to me on my journey, or, wow, I didn't realize that's what I really thought about the world, or about work, or about family, or about love, or the infinite number of things that we have beliefs about that we're not even aware of. When you start seeing, and for the ones that you're like, this is society's, this is my parents, this is, you know, I don't agree with this. This doesn't sound true to me. Now you want to discard it. Get ready. That's the awakening journey. Unique to each and every person, yet a shared energy of generally leaping into the unknown in order to discover and be all that you intended to be. So you're leaping into this knowing that there's so much more of yourself that still has a chance to be revealed. And it's like being a kid again. You know, I mean, think about when you watch children, babies, going through their stages. I mean, you know, they're learning to crawl, they're learning to walk, they're learning how to speak, they're learning, like, that's what we intended to do, kind of that same process for our whole existence in this body. That's what we intended to do. We didn't intend for adulthood to be defined as such where stop having fun, sorry, now it's just a world of responsibility and no fun. And then create this whole energy of what that looks like. No, we intended to continue to experience the world as if you're seeing everything and experiencing everything for the first time, because in each and every moment, really, it is. It's a unique combination of new. Everything does change every single moment. It looks like it's the same. But that's only because we're choosing to believe the opposite of what science already tells us, which is each and every moment, it's like having one of these guys. Each and every moment is a sticky pad. But when you draw something, and if the next image is a cartoon, and you go through it like this, it looks like motion. It looks like it's all continuous. It looks like it doesn't barely change. It looks like each moment is its own moment. That's what we're living. And each moment, if you wanted to, you could put on a totally different set of glasses and look at the world around you through a different perspective, because there's infinite perspectives. It's like, so I'm going way off. Let me pull it way back. We're living in powerful times. I personally have been consciously experiencing what I believe to be the awakening experience that millions of people are going through, have gone through all over the planet, and that more and more people are sensing within themselves but can't name or label, but when and if they hear an energy talking about this, it just makes sense. It's challenging to describe with words, because words are just, as Eckhart Tolle says, they're just pointers. And it's very interesting because since we don't have a agreed upon language, we don't have a language for this universal truth with a capital T across the universe, the best we got are the words that we have. But it's like, if you think of, you know, I have my hand here, and this is one dimension, but there's really infinite levels of reality that I'm in. And in this level, with our language, a particular word is defined and translated as meaning this. But when you try to describe these higher frequencies, for which we don't have a language, you grasp the words from the lower frequencies, because that's, you go until you find words, until you find this way to communicate that we call words, language, and you try to find words that are describing this, but it's, some of the definition might apply, but the energy of it's completely different. Somebody once said sound is, of the senses of this physical world, sound is the closest that the non-physical can get to the physical, or vice versa. Sound is the closest that physical, is as physical as the non-physical can get. Sound, which is why I think music is single-handedly, if I had to pick one expression of creation that could communicate to the greatest number of people in the simplest way, it's art in general, and most specifically music, sound. So for myself personally, I'm very eager to get to painting, dancing, and musical expressions of all of this. However, I know that in this particular dimension, I have, and always have had, a gift of words. I love words. I'm extremely verbose. I've been told my whole life that although I've been told I write like I speak, in a day where writing style and formality is certainly going, kind of out the window with text language as it's becoming, we don't value sort of prose like we did in the times of Shakespeare or some of the great writers of our time. It doesn't matter how well or not well I write. As you can see, when you go into any bookstore or go to Amazon, pretty much anybody can get a book out there. And some of the most popular ones are ones that read at a very low grade level. So I know I have the capability to communicate with words as one of my skills, gifts, talents in this particular personality. And I know I kind of have to go through the words to get to these higher vibrational expressions of music and dance, music and dance and art. But I know I'm still got myself sort of, I allowed myself, how did I go off on this tangent? I remember I was talking about allowing myself for the past year plus to go back into that victim energy. Blaming and looking to things outside of me, just powerless, that powerlessness, that feeling overwhelmed by everything that's outside of me, and forgetting that as long as I maintain this connection to my inner self, to my spirit, everything that I have, that I perceive myself to need to exist is right here. This, I must keep this connection solid though, and not allow anything in the outside world to keep me from this. That's always 100% accessible. You know, my heart is really what I perceive sort of the central energy focus of these bodies. So, due to, oh my God, talk about paradoxes and words and miscommunication, the relationship that I allowed to take me out of my higher knowingness of this greater truth back down to, wow, it's part of what I'm intended to share, but I have to get back to my frequency of more balanced love and the connectedness to this higher energy within me before I came to it's almost like I lost some trust in myself. I allowed the energy of somebody very close to me for a very long number of months reintroduce the very negative low vibrations of doubt and fear and worry and anxiety and pain, emotional pain that I had never experienced. So I'm having to reclaim and kind of find that self-love again. Because it was too new. I wasn't that solid in it, and I had a pretty conscious awareness of all this when I started in this relationship. My higher self and my gut told me, ooh, as much as you want this is not the time. Like you're just getting into this new higher vibrational energy. Introducing to somebody another personality, another energy in this way right now is probably not going to go so well. But I went against that and set myself up on a nice, rough little ride for the past, 14 months. All to say, since it's now been, I guess, almost 2 months since physically seeing this person, and although I intended to stop all communication for these past 2 months, I maintained emailing this person, and it was still way too much contact, too much exchange. It was daily, it was multiple emails daily, and still not at all giving me the space and the time that I knew I needed to reclaim my energy, my power, find myself again, in essence. So I'm in the midst of, it's been a intense process just because of everything else that's going on in my world, but because I've truly never gone through this. I did not allow myself to fall completely in love with this man. I was fast on my way, and then we had a very big shift last summer and had really been pushing further and further away from June until just a couple of months ago as a result of this big shift that took place. It was very intense because there were a lot of things I could have, something within me would not let me fall all the way, and I don't regret that, but it's been really hard because it's something I feel like I want almost more than anything, is a relationship where I really am with somebody who is able and willing to see me as I see them, which has always been in my world through the eyes of spirit, and seeing the greatness that's in everybody and what we have the ability to be, and that we came here to continue in the expansion, to choose relationships and experiences that reveal to us places ultimately where we're expressing fear or expressing from a place of fear, as opposed to expressing and living and being from a place of love. And I truly see, to a greater extent than I think I can say anybody else that I know, the good in people. And I can say that because and you meet a lot of people that know me the best, especially the ones that have been in kind of front row seats for the past few years. They will tell you I am way too trusting. I expect, they'll tell you that I have expectations of people that they just can't live up to, and that But what I see is that not as that as a not negative connotation. I see it as such a beautiful thing, you know, like when we can reflect back to one another, places where, you know, when you begin to remove the taking things personally and the emotionality, sort of the more childlike emotionality of how we communicate and interact with one another, and are able to just say and kind of laugh at it all and be like, oh, thanks for pointing out, you know, thanks for pointing out where I could be loving more, you know, and thanks for pointing out that I'm still, obviously, by, you know, how I'm acting, what I'm saying, what's happening in my world, I got a lot of fear going on, and thank you, because love it's a completely different experience than a fear-based world. And I do believe that everybody really, truly at their soul wants, is yearning for, is seeking, is trying to pursue, at levels, in many cases, that they're not aware of, love. We are seeking love. We are seeking love and connection because that is what we are. We are all ultimately one. We are all connected. It doesn't feel right when you do something in this world that you would not want to be done to you. There's a reason for that. It's not to say, you know, keep doing whatever, you know, you got to do what your gut is telling you to do. But do you really know what your gut is telling you to do? Or are you so afraid of letting yourself hear and feel what your gut, and then act on what your gut is telling you to do, rather than, you know, think about it and overanalyze it and logically kind of step through it, and thus resist it and block it, what your essence really wants to do. So, oh, shit, all over, just all over. I'm very stressed. I'm very anxious at this moment right now. So I'm just trying to get, I'm nervous. I had a 6.5-hour phone conversation with my mom yesterday. I am ready. I am here. I am ready. I am as open as I can be, and I'm simply receiving guidance. Guide me, universe. I'm just receiving, doing the best I can to receive energy for which I don't have words or explanations. And I'm being, working to just be and not think, and just be and just trust and not calculate and not analyze. Just be, just receive, and as I try to follow this, I am so aware of the process that is happening with the energies on this planet. I'm so aware of it, and I know where I want to go, where I intend to go, and I have to continue to raise this vibration, but I am still working through some dense energies. The cleanse that I began 3 weeks ago, this was day 2 of a master cleanse. I intended to go 17 days. The first 11 and a half were 11 plus days were almost effortless. To not eat any solid food, almost effortless. And I was working on the farm the whole time. Day 12, something happened. It was the first day that I really was like, crap, I want food. And it was because food is one of my, food is my addiction. Food is the drug addiction that I am trying to free myself from, and it's a tricky one because you gotta eat. So it's a dense energy that I am very much in the midst of trying to come to balance with. And it was crazy because I was not consuming but maybe 400 calories a day while working on the farm, which isn't super active. You know, a lot of times we're just in, you know, I'm not exerting a ton of energy, but being outside all day for 40, 50 hours a week on top of everything else, I mean, it was kind of crazy that I was only consuming liquid calories of 300 or 400 calories a day, and that was it. And I felt fine, and it wasn't hard. I was not hungry until something extremely stressful happened on the 12th day, and I all of a sudden really, really wanted to turn to my drug of choice, which was the food to numb, and essentially, I really do believe, to keep my energy lower. It's almost like literally to weigh me down. Because I still feel as if part of me must be fearing who I am from these higher frequencies that I intended to be in this life form right now. Like, I'm still blocking myself. And it's now becoming way too, I can't block myself. Like, it's becoming harder and harder and harder to block myself. And prior to this cleanse that I began 3 weeks ago, it had really begun to manifest, and is still manifesting itself in me physically. The craziest thing that happened was on day 13, I truly believe I had what almost feels like a spontaneous healing of an ankle thing going on for months. Felt like it instantaneously healed on the 13th day of the fast, so just a little over a week ago. I haven't had any incident with this ankle since, so that's been a little intense to process. Still having a little bit of sensitivity in my teeth that on this side that seemed to kind of come out of nowhere. It guided me then to get some more natural things to utilize in terms of a tooth powder and an oil called thieves oil. Just really moving myself to more to the most natural things. And to continue to kind of align myself as close to nature as possible, is I guess how I can explain it. So that's kind of subsiding. The nerve in my right hand and even sometimes my left hand, that has not subsided all that much. I still have a lot of numbness going on with primarily my right hand, arm, this whole area. So all to point out that the physical, I really believe that our diseases, our sicknesses, our physical ailments are simply outward manifestations of a lot of turmoil going on inside. And I've got more examples from my own life that I probably will share at some point, but right now those are the three primary ones, mostly because I think round one of this cleanse that I've been trying to do for years, duplicate really, cured this ankle. It almost seemed instantaneously. So I'm now feeling like, even though it's some would probably say, nah, I don't know if it's a good idea that you start another cleanse. You just did this cleanse and you broke it on day 13, which was another crazy story, and how that all transpired to be shared later. It's only been 9 days, 10 days by tomorrow. I don't know if you're ready, do you want to go through that again? And I can't help it. Like, I have the awareness of, I don't want to talk too much about that. I kind of just want to, I just don't want to, I can't explain. I can't explain. I don't think I need to belabor within myself why I'm being guided, I believe, to start another 14-day cleanse, master cleanse, along with, because there are going to be some things that I do and don't do in this round that's different than this last round, or the first round of this big cleanse that just took place 3 weeks ago for 13 days. So all to say, I'm going to be recording each day for however long it feels like I need to record starting, day one will be tomorrow. I need to get myself to the farm right now. I'm very anxious, very anxious. Did not go to the farm yesterday, therefore I'm already on pace to have a significantly lower number of hours on this pay period than I perceive myself to need. Again, the whole money thing is absolutely ready and primed to finally be talked about and shared, aspects of it. So I'm extremely anxious. I'm extremely anxious. The energy at the farm is very, it's intense. I'll just say the energy at the farm is intense. It's intense. It's the most challenging place I've ever worked, bar none. And it's full of paradox. It's full of paradox. It's got some of the most stressful energy I have faced in the past 6-7 years, and it's got some of the most beautiful energy. A lot of the most beautiful energy that I've experienced in the past 6-7 years, which dates me back to the first time I lived in Sarasota when I moved here in June of 2008. There's a lot. There's a lot to be shared. My sharing stopped because I blocked myself with this other relationship. I have no regrets, but now it's been 2 months, cleared myself a little bit of an energy that I allowed to really take me over almost. And I need at least another, like I said, I still have some cleansing and some clearing and some balancing to do just to get myself back to the range of frequency that I perceived myself to be when I met this person in early November of 2013, right? Yes, early November of 2013 is when my journey, I had a very, very particular, now identifiable segment of my journey from November 2013 through kind of where I'm at right now. So in many, many ways, I just feel like I'm getting, and you never go back and recreate exactly what you were. I mean, the lessons have been immense. Oh my God, in that time period. So by no means am I going back to the same place, but in terms of where I had allowed myself to go, in terms of being fearless of recording and putting out there to the world publicly. It doesn't matter that right now there's only, dozens of people as opposed to hundreds or thousands being drawn to what I label my work. I've said all along, I know where I'm going, and I have to be at a certain frequency of comfort when I'm doing my work, and most notably, I cannot be in a place where anything outside of me affects what I'm allowing to come through me. I need to be at a place where I'm free of anything of my concern of how what I'm doing is being received. I have to only be concerned with the only thing I can control, which is the intent that lies underneath at the foundation of all my work, which is to inspire each and every one of us to see the path of greatness that we are all on, the greatness which is the one, the energy, the light, the love that we are, that it's inside of us, that we get to make our own life up. We don't have to buy into what we perceive as the outside forces telling us how to be, how to live, what's valuable, what's not, what's news, what's not. We have tremendous power that we've forgotten because of all the dark, and I'm only trying, I've got a lot of this light within, and I just want to guide you, anybody being drawn to any part of this energy that is me in this life, back to yourself, back to what's right inside here, for the sake of us all. And that's the intent. That's what the intent will always be in every single thing. And I need to be in a place where I can allow that to come through, however it's meant to come through in the now moment, and not be concerned with how it's received, and not be affected personally by how it's received by anybody else or anything on the outside. And that's a pretty intense journey. you know, and that's why, even though there's a lot of people probably in my immediate network to whom I appear, whatever adjective you want to use, crazy, unstable, whatever you want to use, I know that there are many out there that are in a similar place as I am, newly discovering this about themselves, and more importantly, I know that there's many more to come. And that's not to say I'm in a better place at all. I'm not better than anybody. But there's a distinct point at which you can't go back. And when you get a true glimpse of this universal truth of knowing, this oneness, this light, this magic that surrounds us, and what we intended to do, and you remember what you intended to do when you chose this life and chose this time to be on this planet, there is no going back. And it's to those folks that I'm trying to just be a support, a guide, a light. Light your fire, relight your match, your candle on, use my flame, use it all. So with that said, I'm going to continue to kind of just off camera work with myself, get myself to the farm today for at least half a day, and then tomorrow although I'll be recording, nothing will go public while I'm on the fast. Like that, the recordings will be live, you know, each day. But the biggest difference between this fast and this kind of second, we'll call it the second round of this cleanse, this conscious cleanse, is that nobody in my world, whereas last time my whole farm community knew, a few people in my network knew, and my close, you know, a couple friends, a couple family members, but the whole farm community knew. I need, for my own sake, to know that I can keep, in an increased effort to stay conscious and wise in my discernment of what to share, when to share, with whom to share, and how to share. I need to show and demonstrate to myself that I have the capability, the ability to keep things just within me. And going forward, you know, it really is protecting the privacy. The stories I will share, the energies I will share, is always with the utmost respect of privacy, including my own. This wide open book that is my life now, I don't anticipate my life being anywhere near as open as I'm offering it to be, sort of up from my past until this present point. I think there's only a short period more time where it will be that open. And I that's just more of a feeling. And so that's a new behavior for me. That's a new behavior for me because it's just omitting. It's not lying, but sort of that goody-goody in me always sort of, for whatever reason, felt that omission was lying. And omission, and I was, you know, fearful of being identified morally as a liar ever, you know, very honest. Which is, you know, all just to say that's part of, you know, why I shared so much, and I have to still refine what I'm sharing, when, with whom. I mean, I still know I need to mature a good deal into that. So it's a big deal that nobody will know for these 14 days except for me. That I'll actually have to ease up on that for the final 3 days because I have a race. I have a race, and this part of the cleanse is being timed. The last cleanse was timed with some universal energy going on around the equinox and the new moon. Some very big energy. This time it's around more earthbound energy, and with a very high purpose though. This is an Iron Girl event. Iron Girl is a sub part of Iron Man. Lots of meaning and intention in this round. I'm very purposely waited till tomorrow to begin it because I wanted the final days to align with this Iron Girl event that I'm working April 10th, 11th, and 12th. So I will be forced, really, because otherwise people will wonder why I'm not eating. on those days to share with my small group of friends that I work with there the fact that I'll be completing a cleanse. And I think that that's going to have some interesting, it'll be interesting to observe within myself first and foremost, and those around me what happens. So, okay, so I feel, I guess, a little bit less anxious. I really have to use the restroom. I wanted to just kind of test this camera, get comfortable again, and all right, looking to be guided for this next round. So have a good day.